So at this point, I want to talk more about ELL learners and Spec Ed learners and CALL and the benefits that I've noticed and the information I've gathered from this site. From this course and the sites that have been represented within the course. Um, so essentially, prior to the course, I had known that CALL was a huge um, piece of ELL learning. However, I assumed that that was something that was being used across a lot of different classrooms within my board, as well as within different age groups. However, when I got to discuss more with my peers and colleagues, I realized that a lot of our ELL learners are not being exposed to computer assisted language learning, and that's because of lack of devices or teachers not feeling comfortable with using computer assisted language CALL, because they are not trained on it, and the different types of apps and softwares a lot of teachers are unfamiliar with. And I kind of got a better sense of our students, our ESL population within my school, just a group of them through my group's research component for our project, in which we looked at if using CALL to do a written assessment increases confidence in students. So we did a little mini research task in which a selective group of students were chosen based upon their ELL identification, and they were given a written task and were asked to use CALL. In this particular research, my students used Google Read and Write. As I said previously, my board is really pushing Google Read and Write. So it was a sense that the students were semi-familiar with it and they were able to navigate it. However, not nearly as proficient as my spec ed students could navigate it, and that's because of lack of usage and not being completely familiar with the software itself. However, nonetheless, the research actually indicated that students overall did feel a better sense of confidence and were able to produce better content through the use of CALL. In this sense, the Google Read and Write. And these students were not in my class. I had gotten these students from various other classes, and the teachers, I had two teachers come back and tell me how their students really enjoyed using it, and they felt that they were able to communicate better, and they were able to really get their thoughts through. And that was with them knowing the bare minimum of Google Read and Write, not even knowing the full-fledged program. So to hear that and to see that these students felt a higher sense of confidence in themselves is a powerful thing, especially for our students who are in intermediate and already have to deal with a lot of different social situations that they are going through at that age. So to increase their confidence and in return get better product through using a piece of technology like Google Read and Write, their teachers were able to see how much these students actually did know. Later, talking to one of my colleagues, one of her specific students that I used within the research study, she had said that she has a very hard time getting him to produce anything. And when I had showed her his sample, his written sample, she was completely taken away. And to me, that speaks volumes, to say that, through giving a student an opportunity of using this type of technology, he's able to change his attitude towards writing and learning and actually produce content that the teacher can get a better assessment of where the student is. So really and truly, through the use of CALL, the student benefits, the teacher benefits, and overall, the education, the confidence, the academic success, parents can see a difference in these students. And there are various different apps that can be given and provided through schools. A lot of boards have these apps already purchased. It's just a matter of getting in contact with your ESL instructional coach or your resource teacher and simply asking for the password. We have a lot of students at our school who are on RAS, like I said, the Google Read and Write. There are various leveled books that are online that are purchased from our board, in which our students are using, and it allows them to have somebody read this to them to get them familiar with the language, especially for our students who are newcomers and are on those steps 1 and 2. We're able to get books that are better suited for them, where they don't feel overwhelmed, and they're able to produce content in which they feel best represents their knowledge. So through all that, our ELL students are able to gain a better sense of confidence. Now, with speaking to that, the same goes for our spec ed students. Our spec ed students, specifically mine, when they're not given the opportunity to use technology, their faces often look a lot like this one here, where they're confused, they're overwhelmed, and it causes them to shut down. And especially with our students who are in need of that foundation, it is important that we use products and softwares and apps and devices that can enhance their learning, such as CL laptops. The end goal is kind of like, sorry about that. The end goal is essentially to get our students to be beneficial to their own learning. And we want them to gain confidence and to reach their end goals, whatever those goals may be. For us, it might be getting them ready for the next grade. For them, it is surviving the next week or two, depending on their own personal goals. I have students who refuse to read and write, but when technology isn't provided. Now, not to say that they don't handwrite stuff. Of course they do, but like I said, the use of technology helps enhance their communication skills, especially if we're getting at what am I marking? Am I marking their ideas? Am I marking their writing? What am I marking? And or what am I assessing? And to me, technology is a huge plus for these students, and especially students that don't have the technology aspect given to them, like a SIA claim, because not all spec ed students get SIA claims, being provided with access to a piece of technology, and minor training on Google Read and Write and RAS Kids and Prodigy, IXL. A lot of these things go a long way for these students, and that crosses along several different types of subjects, math, science, language, and sometimes all they need is that little extra enhancement. So in the end, I have seen, like I've said, great benefit of spec ed and ESL, and I look forward to seeing what else is out there and what else can benefit our students and ourselves as educators, because much like I push our Google Read and Write on my kids, it essentially is something I use too. It makes life a lot easier. So why not ask for that upper hand, and why not use it when it is provided? So to sum up this chapter of my collage, I strongly believe that within ESL and Spec Ed, the use of computer assistive technology is a huge benefit for our students and for our staff and our educators and the different people that play the roles, because essentially our end goal is for all students to be successful. So why not provide them with the tools for them to be successful? Thank you for listening.